Dear students, before starting the lesson, I want to ask you a question. Do you have any experience of missing in public places when you were small? If yes, how did you feel when you separate from your parents? Those who experience only can realize that terrific situation, right? So today, I'm going to connect your experience with our first lesson, The Lost Child, written by Mulk Raj Anand. First, let me tell you about a brief introduction about the author Mulk Raj Anand. Mulk Raj Anand was an Indian writer in English. He was notable for his depiction of the lives of the suppressed and deprived sections, that means the poor people, in the traditional Indian society. He was born in the year 1905 and he died in the year 2004. He received Padma Bhushan Award. And his famous works are Untouchable, Coolie, Two Leaves and a Bird, etc. Now, I'm going to talk about the lesson. The entire lesson is divided into three parts. The first part is about what fascinated the child on the way to the fair. Second, what the child wanted at the fair. And the third part is the child lost his parents and a kind man tried to console the child, but it becomes a failure. Next, I'm going to show you the video of the lost child. It's a simplified version. I want all of you to watch it.
The story of the lost child by Mulk Raj Anand is about a young boy's innocence and his bond with his parents. It is a bright spring day. There is a fair going on, and everyone in and around the village is traveling to partake of the delights of the fair. Among them is a young boy. He skips and runs happily alongside his parents as they walk to the fair. There are many people traveling along with them. Some of them are moving in bullock carts or horses, while most of them are walking to the fair. The boy's excitement grows as he sees all the people around them. On his way, he sees a toy shop. He loudly proclaims that he wants a toy. His father looks at him sternly. To divert the child's attention, his mother draws his attention towards the mustard fields. There is a vast field of golden yellow mustard fields, and its color excites the boy. The field is also filled with butterflies. The boy is fascinated by the butterflies. As they fly close to him, he tries to catch some of them, but they elude him. His parents call out to him to join them. They have taken shelter in a shaded grove. As soon as the boy enters the grove, a shower of flowers greets him, and he holds out his hand to catch the petals. The boy looks around in wonder, taking in all the sights and sounds of nature. From the grove, they travel along a narrow path to the fair. From the serene world of nature, the boy enters the world of the fair. Its cacophony, sights and smells fascinate and repel him at the same time. The boy stops in front of a sweet shop, tempted by the delightful display of sweets. He wants a barfi, though he knows his parents will not buy it for him. As they walk on, he is attracted by the beautiful garlands of gulmohar in the next shop. Though he wants one around his neck, he knows his parents will call it cheap and refuse him. Brightly colored balloons on a pole greet him next. He stops and gazes at the bright balloons floating in the air. He knows his parents will tell him he's too old to play with them. So he moves on to where a snake charmer is playing his flute. He wants to hear the music, but he knows his parents will forbid it. Finally, he reaches the giant wheel. His eyes shine at the giant wheel, keeping on turning with its brightly colored lights and people laughing and shouting. He cannot contain himself any longer and clamors to get on it, but his parents do not reply. He turns around, but his parents are not with him any longer. Frightened, he starts howling. He runs here and there trying to find his parents. There are tears in his eyes, and his clothes become dirty. He notices a temple around which many people are gathered. He hopes he can find his parents there, but there are too many people, and he cannot see them. A kind stranger rescues him from the stampede of people. The stranger asks the boy who his parents are, but the boy cannot tell him. He only repeats that he wants his mother and father. The stranger then takes him to the roundabout and asks whether he wants a ride, but the child doesn't want one. The stranger then takes him to Snake Charmer, asking him if he wants to hear the music, but the child closes his ears, crying for his parents. He shakes his head at the pretty balloons. He refuses to put a garland around his neck. Finally, the stranger takes him to the sweet shop, but the child cannot be consoled by the sweets. He continues to cry for his parents.
So, dear children, The Lost Child is all about the thrilling and frightful experience of a small child who accompanies his parents to the village fair. Now, I'm going to show you the things that attracted the child in the fair. The things that attracted the child in the fair: the toys in the shop, flowering mustard field, dragonflies and butterflies, little insects and worms, dove, sweetmeat seller, flower seller, balloon seller, snake charmer, and the roundabout. See, when you read the lesson, you can understand how well the author used all the five senses brilliantly in describing the things and places. You can see the first one, the toys in the shop. It's about the sense of sight. Colorful toys, very attractive toys. It's about the sense of sight, seeing. It's next one is about the flowering mustard field. It soothes our eyes. Again, the sense of sight comes. Next, dragonflies and butterflies. The sound of the dragonflies, that means the auditory sense, and the butterfly, the way it flutters and also fly, that also soothes our eyes and ears. Next one, little insects and worms, how they move. The dove, he wants to touch the dove, he wants to touch and feel it, so it's about the feeling of touching. Next, sweetmeat seller, it's the sense of tasting. Flower seller, it's the sense of smelling, right? Balloon seller, again the colorful beautiful balloons at the pole, sense of sight. Snake charmer, it's again sense of sight and auditory sense, the sound it plays. And the last one is the roundabout. Again, it's a movement of the roundabout. You want to touch and feel all these things. I hope you guys have read the lesson. These are the value points which you can make use of while you write the answers. Okay, so the first one is, it is a short story of a child, his aspiration, demands, and realization. The second one, the child is being taken to the fair by his parents. You have seen the child was continuously asking when he see different kinds of things which attracted him, but the parents did not allow him to take him or giving him. You can see the difference between our present generation, present parents, and the old traditional parents. Whenever you want anything, nowadays your parents are ready to give you anything. That's the difference, the generation difference in the generation. At that time, see, the child asked many things they didn't give. They know the child is attracted to that. The child is curious about each and everything, but they didn't give. But you can see that relationship of the child, which never, the bondage of the parents, between the child and parents, it's strong, very strong. Though the child knows he won't get anything, but their bondage is their love, that is very strong. That's why at the end of the lesson, you can see when the stranger, when he took the boy from the crowd, the child was crying and he was asking father and mother not about, and he was not satisfied with any of those things like garland. He was not satisfied about the roundabout. He is not ready to go in the horse. So all those things, sweet meat seller, I mean sweet, his favorite sweets, all those things, he did not want any things whatever attracted him. He want only his parents. So next point, there are many attractions in the fair of the child, like balloons, merry-go-round, toys, and eatables. The child asks for these things from his parents. Parents have no desire to purchase things for the child. The crowd is thick, that's why the parents are holding the hand of the child. At one point, the child slips out of his parents' hand. The child starts crying, asking for his father and mother. A kind person picks up the child and tries to console him. The person offers him balloons and other things which he wanted earlier. But now the child does not want anything. He keeps crying and saying, I want my father, I want my mother. Now next I'm going to critically appreciate the story. These are the main highlights of the story. Despite all the checks and restrictions, nothing is of greater importance in the life than the bond of true relationship between a child and his parents. As I have already told you, though they restricted him, they controlled him for not buying any of the things. They didn't give money, or they didn't give any toys or any of the things which he asked. But their relationship, the true relationship between a child and his parent, is clearly we can see in this lesson. His parents' calls pulls him back from his paradise, and a little bit disgusted, he follows them obediently. Whenever he is attracted to many things, whatever he sees at that age, for him everything is new and everything is variety for him. So all those things is paradise for him. Paradise means a heaven. It's like a heaven that he came to see all many sorts of things. So, but when he was attracted with all those things, his parents call, and that pulled him back from his attraction or from the sight of that, but he follows them obediently. Then next is mesmerized by the watches or the motion of the roundabout, he intently unaware of the fact that he is separated from his parents. So when he was mesmerized by the motion of the roundabout and the cries of the people they made, so when he was not unaware of the fact that he is separated from his parents, he was actually he lost his attention and he was lost from his parents. Next, I'm going to talk about the language of the story. It is very rich. You can see when you read the lesson, the description of the mustard fields and the grove is very poetic and vivid. It was very clear description. The writer has a deep insight in the psychology of the child, the way the child thinks, the way the child feels, and the way the child does. All those things, the author is having a deep insight about a child. The power of the story lies in the skillful narration of joys and expectations, the tender feelings and excitements of the child, and the fears and misapprehensions of the child's mind. Everything you can see in this particular lesson. The child wins all the sympathy of the readers when his desires and demands remain unfulfilled, and in the end, he lost his parents. So, he becomes truly a lost child. Now, let's sum up with the same points. So, the first point is about this story is about a little child who is guided by his parents to the village fair. Next, the child was attracted to many things in the fair like toys, dragonflies, little insects and worms, sweets, flowers, balloons, etc. Next, thrilled by all these things, he lagged behind his parents. His parents constantly kept watch over him. He wanted to own them all, but he knew his plea, his request would not be heeded. Heeded means they would not pay any attention to his demands, to his request, and his parents would refuse to buy him anything. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on with them. He was immensely attracted by a roundabout in full swing. He made a bold request for a ride on the roundabout. There was no reply. When he turned round, he could not find them anywhere. At that moment, he became panic stricken. He runs here and there in search of his parents, crying in real fear, "Mother, Father." He realizes that he is lost. He feels absolutely desolated. A kind-hearted man picks him up in his arms and tries to console him, but it was a failure. The person offers him all those things which he wanted earlier. But now the child does not want anything. He just sobbed, "I want my father. I want my mother." Like this. So, dear children, so today we have learned the main highlights of the story, The Lost Child. I want you to read the lesson twice or thrice and note down all the sum up points and the value points in your notebook. Thank you.